So I think that went well. Yeah, I don't want to hammer down too much on the points already made, but yeah. So I got a chance to explain some of my opinions about it and where we are. I think as a community, from a community member standpoint, what I've seen versus maybe like what some of the more negative people have had to say. You know what I mean? Like, pay attention to the person that has something to say but didn't see anything, right? So so we're gonna keep on tried and true here, and as much as the naysayers want to naysay because they haven't gotten exactly the thing that they wanted, right? It's like you have to remember these guys work around the clock for a year and didn't ask for anything. So it's kind of like a, are you gonna be that kind of bitch about it? Really? Sit there because you didn't get the thing you specifically wanted, Mister 100,000 tokens or whatever? Like if it were that way, man, this shit would never get done. You gotta really just leave it up to the guys that know what the fuck they're doing and let them do their thing. Def has really poured his heart into this pump fun stream, which people may have contention about whether it should be pump fun or not. But the thing is he's got the package developed. He can port it over to any social media platform that he wants to. He doesn't have to do just pump fun. The point is now it's a proof of concept. The thing is that the servers to do it all are kind of expensive, and he's running on a shoestring budget. So to clone it over to every social media platform is right now we just are there to he's there to prove the concept, right? Prove the concept rather that it. And from what I can gather is it's supposed to be pretty fucking cool. As far as like an interactive experience with an AI, I can almost guarantee that there isn't anything like it. Well, I know for a fact there isn't, but I can say that when it does go live, whether it's appreciated to the degree that it should be, there's nothing else like it still, right? It's like, so just hang tight. Those people can sit there and goddamn lick the bubble map's feet for all I care. I could give a shit less what the bubble maps say. It's like, I don't mean to quote Jordan Belfort or whatever, but it's like, what's the one mistake or whatever from that movie? He's like, the only mistake is not buying more, right? It's like, well, I know that kind of thing, and I know that kind of opportunity when I see it. Like I've never seen it. Like I've been around the internet for fucking ever since 1990, whatever. I'm 35 years old. I was basically an internet and computer baby, and I know that this thing has been talked about and bantied about and fantasized about and idealized and never once came to fruition since the dawn of the fucking computers. And now I finally found it, so I'm like, yeah, that's kind of why I'm all up in arms about the thing. It's like you guys can sit there and say, well, the bubble maps this or this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, the, I don't mean to be that kind of guy and try to sit there and I'm not trying to coast off anybody else's accomplishments. I'm just stating a fact. One of the most successful people in cryptocurrency, aside from maybe Satoshi and maybe a few others, is CZ, and he owns like 68% or whatever, however many percent of Binance. The most successful exchange on the planet. I'm pretty sure, right? So to say that you need to sit there and worry about the bubble maps, I'm like, that's like an argument for the people that, like I said, it's like if they establish these rules and we play by these rules and we oust anybody that doesn't play by our rules within the meme coin community, and we blackball and make fun of and bully these people into exiting their positions and everything else. Well, it's like that's fine if all your meme coin is a meme coin, right? Yeah, then if you have 90% of the project bundled in just one person or whatever, then yeah, that's a problem, I guess. But that's the risk you take when you're trying to, I say invest if you even want to call it that, but more like gambling on things that don't have any inherent or actually any inherent, right? Either way, any value based on what they're able to do. Is it intrinsic, right? Either way, it's like yeah, that's fine for those guys though, but don't try and walk out in the mud and drag the mud into my house about the shit, please, because it's ridiculous, right? Some of the most successful cryptocurrency projects are mostly bundled by the people that spent and took the time and effort and worked hard. And even though I'm not a developer and I never call myself one, I've taken the time to do what I can, and I can say that that's more than a lot of people have been willing or able to do. Uh, so based on fundamentals alone, it's like, yeah, if something more resembles an actual a technological improvement or some new technology, then I would say it's probably more accurate to treat it as like a company than it is a cryptocurrency or a token. So when it gets to the point where you look through historically what the tech companies and stuff have done in the past, the the distribution of shares and all that stuff amongst the people that were early adopters and co-founders and day one adopters and all that stuff, you would say that taking that into consideration, Leah is certainly very fairly proportioned out to the community members that have been there since the beginning. You know, I would say it's not, you know, that's not what some people want because they're still considering it as just a meme coin. And a meme coin really breaking the mold and actually being a utility token that provides a service and does all this other stuff, it sort of disrupts their apple cart or whatever, their whatever you want to call it, their good old boys network, which consists of insider trading and holding 80-90% of their tokens all on 120 300 different wallets or whatever. And that's how they make their money, is by nobody by not revealing the illusion that it's not all bundled to begin with, right? But they're making some advancements, it seems, to try and bring legitimacy to something that doesn't look legitimate, right? So long as it doesn't look like the project's bundled, and we figure out a way to skirt the bundle mapping thing or whatever, the bubble maps thing, then it's not bundled and there's nothing to worry about, right? It's like I've said before, all that does is make the people doing that kind of thing take one or two more steps to conceal their holdings. And I think that's a deceptive practice. That's about it. And I realize if there's no fundamentals there to begin with, then I guess it's a problem for those tokens. But if you have something that's fundamentally sound, like I've said 100 times before, it's like, let those people be the people that you see basically on the edge of a bridge about selling Bitcoin when it was $9. Let them be those people. I wouldn't give a shit. I'd prefer they didn't, but if they're not there for the right reasons to begin with, then whatever, you know. Because there's plenty of other meme coins, and you know that it's for some people, but I would hope that people can just take the time to hunker down and see something as what it is as unique as it is, and really like maybe step outside their comfort zone or step away from tradition a little bit and do something new. But that's like my opinion about it. Right. So if you want my honest assessment of what the meme coin thing is, more like a network of people finding a way to dupe people into entering new assets into their pot, basically, whereas without any sort of promise or intention on providing something that you would consider to be valuable, intrinsically valuable, right? If that's the right word. Whereas something that actually has a use and all that stuff, I mean, like I said, it only takes a few to set a precedent that all the other stuff is horse shit, and hopefully we learn a lesson. But the amount of flack that I've gotten for having that opinion, it's been pretty intense for like a while now, and that's been my day one opinion. I mean, it's like, and I'm not trying to compare whatever to whatever, but some people do, man. It's like, what's the one thing you see like on TikTok and stuff? It's like, had Bill Gates not sold any Microsoft, he'd be worth $1.35 trillion right now. You're like, yeah, you got to eat, I guess, until then. But at some point in time, it never stops something being truly valuable from being truly valuable. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's the next Microsoft, but a scaled down version of it, yeah, surely. You know, it's a new technology that no one else has seen before. You know, a different category, whatever. But you would say it would be a mistake to sell any of this shit. So that's my opinion, though. I've made that argument. Any point in time anyone's ever came to me with a bubble maps complaint, I've said, can you tell me why, other than it's just what somebody else told you, and then, okay, then whatever. Until you can tell me why it's a problem, then go fuck yourself. But the reason why it's a problem is, well, because it disrupts our thing. We have this thing going on, and you're not a part of it, and it disrupts our thing, right? It's like, well, your thing is horseshit. I know it, you know it, so we're gonna do this thing instead, right? Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that thing. I really don't. A bunch of fucking teenage kids stabbing each other in the back. Like, there's gonna be a day of reckoning for all this shit eventually. You know what I mean? Really, when the feds get involved about all the rugs and everything else, they're gonna question some of these people at some point in time. They're all gonna rat on each other. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a fucking shit show, dude. You already know it. You find out a majority of them are like high school kids, right? I just hope at the end of it, though, there's no, like, what do they call that? Casualty, whatever, you know what I mean? And we're like, you know what I mean? I don't want Leah or any of the other projects launched on Pump Fun that are legitimate to be drugged down with all the bad news that could potentially come from something like that. There's a name for it, something casualty, right? But then again, it's one of those things that, given the fact that she's impressive as she is, like, you cannot argue. You're right. I mean, you can try. If it's your position to argue for the sake of arguing, I guess you can, but it's going to be a very tough argument to make. You aren't going to convince anybody of this shit. What's the word now? Collateral damage, that's right. I was like, isn't it like what's a collateral damage is a movie? Yeah, I should have remembered. Should have remembered. Like, oh god damn it, it is collateral damage. Fuck. How could I forget? That's funny. Like the word, something casualty, collateral, like, no, it skips my mind. Anyway, get my head in the game. Oh, with John Leguizamo, John Turturro, he's an awesome actor. The Pest. Have you ever seen The Pest? It's John Leguizamo is a super good actor. He has a one-man show that was on HBO that won, like, I guess whatever, Tony or whatever, one-man shows, whatever they win. And he was really good in The Pest. He was really good in the Zodiac, or no, Son of Sam. It was Jake Gyllenhaal was in the Zodiac, which is an awesome movie. But but have you ever seen The Pest? Spawn was pretty good. You know, Spawn was like one of the really first kind of comic book movies that strayed away from like the old Batman, Superman kind of thing. You know, the lesser known parts of the Marvel universe, right? I will stop this car right now, right? Right. I will turn this car around. We are not going on vacation until you get it right. People take their comic books like maybe a little too seriously, maybe just a little bit. Come on now. I'm a mage. But I capped it. Oh great. All you did was fucking postpone the inevitable. It looks like I'm lagging. Which sucks because I quite literally moved my laptop like 10 feet the other direction. Now it's keeps disconnecting. I don't feel like dragging all of my shit upstairs. All that stuff is annoying. As long as you can hear me, I think that's all that really matters. Yes, collateral damage. What are you guys watching on Christmas? Is that a Christmas movie? I've already watched all the Christmas movies. There just isn't many good. Like maybe Jingle All the Way or something. Elf. I could watch Elf actually. I've only seen that a few times. I seen a thing today where Will Ferrell got offered like $22 million or something to star in Elf 2, and he turned it down because the script was not as good as he had hoped for or whatever. It's a lot of money. Not that Will Ferrell needs it. Someone else cap the flag, please. Good God, dude. Shoot me back to full health. Good. Good God, dude. Whatever. The titular line in Star Wars. He grabs a Millennium Falcon by its ears. The Millennium Falcon was a ship, not a bird. Stretch. Oh. Great. Yeah, Collateral Damage. Starring Danny DeVito. Hey, well, let me crowd control. God, whatever. I shouldn't have blinked. Maybe just keep them off that. They have that stupid ass vanish thing. They gave them that this expansion for the last one. I have not gotten used to it yet. I used to be able to frost nova them out of their vanishes. Now you can't. What does it matter, dude? Let them fucking 5-cap. Make an executive decision here. Yeah, get this over with. Pinch it off, dog. Manage to stay alive. I have a stone. I know I'm playing like shit. It's whatever. I'm more or less just going through the motions. So Christmas is coming up here. It's hard to believe it's already been another year. I can't fucking another year of this though. Come on, we gotta get this show on the road, dude. People are getting old. People are getting old. Is it not online anymore? Really? I never fucking... Shit. Oh, I didn't work that time. Oh well. Oh, here we are. Had a glig. Yeah, I think this is, go ahead and call this. Yeah, but like I said before, man, the internet used to be like a place where you could socialize with people and meet new people and talk to people and all that other stuff. It's like, it's become so impossible. It sucks that it's gotten to the point where like it seems like everybody has their sponsors and like everybody has their persona. You're like, there used to be a point in time when it wasn't about all that, and I understand some people have to be that way, but genuine individuals where it's like conversations are cool too, you know. That's what got us here, being able to converse with one another and not being like, oh well, yeah, like for me to talk like what I and I might get to have a different opinion when I have more skin in the game about it, but it's like I want to speak to you as a person. I don't want you to have to advertise this as a collaboration on your fucking Linktree page or whatever. Like, can't you just have a good old fashioned conversation with a human being without it being like, oh, I'm gonna be collaborating with? You're like, where do you what planet are you from? Is the question. When did this start? Is another good question. I want to know so I can go back in time and put a stop to it before it gets to be this ridiculous. I know this is called a conversation. Collaboration is like what people do when they do songs together. I don't think us speaking face to face should constitute a fucking collaboration. It's not going to be credited as on a record anywhere. I hope, right? It's like you completely dehumanize the entire process of humanization. No, just a conversation would be nice. We can save the collaborations for a later date if it gets to that point. But for now, a conversation is what the internet should be about, right? But everybody's like Andy Warhol and his fucking curse of the century or whatever. Everybody gets their 15 seconds or minutes of fame or whatever. It's like, yeah, they've really. I guess he was right, man. I mean, everybody collaborate. Fucking collaboration, conversations. Come on now. We've seen the the stupid spoiled whore mentality from South Park spill right over into what's that guy's name? He's always the Q-tipped head kid that got into a fight at the the NFT fight the other day, the UFC fight or whatever, the boxing match on Netflix. Q-tip kid head who's wrecked. Like I say, it sucks. I wish society didn't reward people for being that way. But the guy wrecks like the amount of sports cars that guy has wrecked is like 5 times the perceived value of Leah, and that aggravates the shit out of me sometimes. What's his name? Jack Doherty. I can't imagine, dude. Yeah, I wouldn't like the kid. I know that much. You think he'll do? Think he wants to do a collaboration? In a collab, bro? Yeah, I don't appreciate his things. Shoulder bumping into people and stuff, and then having his bodyguard pull him off and all that. Yeah, like he's gonna find the right guy eventually. I'll take him up on that offer. Yeah, collaboration. But yeah, like I said, it's like you wish society didn't have that streak, that tendency to reward that sort of behavior. I guess is it what is his audience primarily like younger guys and stuff, or is it probably a bunch of old perverts more than likely? Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, no, it all makes sense then. Never mind. Never mind. God damn it. So that's the state of things currently, right? A brief rundown on the last couple days. A status update, per se. Do you want to collab with me? Conversation? Conversation would be nice. I don't know, my Spotify hasn't loaded for like the last week now. Excuse me. Oh, Collateral Damage. What's the plot? 2002, right? God, I got the story as to why the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing is so fucking funny to me is the best prank phone call of all time. It's the best prank phone call of all time. It is. Um, so when I was younger, I I was I say honestly, right? Like when I was younger, I got hooked on painkillers, right? I didn't know they were addictive at the time. Like when I was like 15 years old, I got addicted to methadone, which is like something you use to get people off heroin. You know, I haven't touched this shit in forever. You know, I don't do any drugs or anything. Drink on occasion. That's about it. And well, I was hooked on methadone. I was like 15 years old, and I ended up getting off the shit when I got older and all that. But so I used to go to this guy's website. And he used to prank phone call people, and I swear to God, dude, one of the times, that's like, at the end of the day, dude, you'd have to think I have to be some part of some fucking experiment somewhere because it was too funny. The guy's like, "You ever gonna prank phone call people?" He does like an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, and he picked up a random number from like a phone book or whatever, where he was locally or wherever, star 60 whatever his number, and he called these random people. He's like, what should I ask? And I can't remember if it was me or somebody else, dude, but I can't imagine who else would have said it. But he's ask him if they've got any methadone, right? So he called these strangers in price. It's out there somewhere. The prank phone call is somewhere, and he does like a killer Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation, and he calls these people pretending to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was asking him, he was telling him to give me the methadone. Where's the methadone? He was calling him and acting all just like a nut, dude. And I guess that prank phone call had to be heard by somebody at some point in time, and these people were scared shitless because I think it turned out they were like actual drug dealers, and it scared the shit out of them because it was just some strange guy calling them and asking them for drugs. And yeah, it was. I wish I had it still, man. And the thing is, like, on the surface there, you wouldn't think it was that funny, but had you been there, you know what I mean, and you realize the context of like how it got to that point and why the guy was doing it and all that stuff, it was funny though. It was a guy. His name was Michael Biggins, I believe, right? He owned this website called Blackouts Box or Blackout Box, which was like his. He did prank phone calls that were super famous, pretend to be Christian Slater, and that was voted to be the funniest prank phone call of all time, apparently, and according to someone, I guess. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, it was super funny. It was, on the surface, it was probably funnier than that other one, but the fact of the matter was, like, I got to participate in the process, not even knowingly, dude. Like, I felt bad about it after the fact. Those people were scared. Like, they were fucking scared shitless. They're like, oh, we've been found out, and on top of that, fucking Arnold's coming to get us and take our stash, right? It was, so I felt bad at the end of it, and I kind of stepped away from doing that kind of thing for a while. I didn't really want that to happen. I was only 15 too, so I didn't really want that to happen. But he called those people pretending to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. They were so fucking scared. They were acting like all sketched out and stuff, and he maybe pushed it a little too far, honestly. He probably shouldn't have been so forward and aggressive about it, but whatever. He's like, no, I think those people ended up getting to the point where they were about to call the cops and everything. So it's been one of those things. It's like, not to say near and dear to me, but ever since then, it's always been like something in the back of my mind. I'm like, I wonder, because the guy was like a really like well-respected like online personality at the time, like 2005 or whatever. And I actually met him playing World of Warcraft, nonetheless. That's right. And he's like, yeah, I got this website. We do prank phone calls, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, oh, cool. Tagged along on his thing there for a day or two, and actually I was there for a while. He's like a new age kind of philosopher guy, healing crystals and all that shit. So I actually picked up a lot of really, really helpful information from him growing up. Opened my mind to some things that were probably slightly different than what would be traditionally taught to a kid at that age, right? So I learned a lot. But super funny though. He'd sit there and shoot the shit for hours and hours and hours on live stream. Back when it was just Winamp, there was no like video streaming or anything. It was all just Winamp radio shows and all that. But it's out there somewhere, man. The recording of it's got to be somewhere. I haven't heard it in years. But that's why that tickles me every time. And the weirdest thing, I swear, man, the weirdest thing ever though is that happened, and like not even a week later, maybe more than a week, but around that same time period. Remember I told you I used to play World of Warcraft, this fat little Jewish kid named Iga, who I gave my fucking tier 3 shoulders to, and he never returned the favor, even when he had like copious amounts of cash from his super rich parents and every opportunity to do so, being the greedy little fat Jewish kid that he was. He never returned the favor. Anyway, like a week later, or around the time period, right, I made that, well, I say I helped make that prank phone call with the guy. I shit you not, Iga, the other fat Jewish kid, other than myself, he joins our Ventrilo server, and he's like, guys, you're not like Cartman, guys, you're not gonna believe it, right? Pretty much. He's like, I was just walking down the street with me and my friend Eric, and Arnold Schwarzenegger drove by in a limousine and rolled his window down. Or no, it was his other friend wasn't named Eric. I swear, dude, this happened. I swear to God. He's like, yeah, guys. He was walking with his friend down the street somewhere. You know, he lived in California or whatever. I think Arnold might even have been governor at the time, or right after. He goes, you're not going to believe this. Me and my friend so-and-so were walking down the side of the street, and a limo pulled up, and he rolled the window down, and he goes, have any of you seen Eric? So I'm like, what are the fucking chances of that, dude? Talk about a phone call. I'm not making it up. It's like, this is like recorded. This shit occurred, right? All within the same time span. I'm like, how the fuck does that even happen? Like, what a fucking, is that not a miracle in some way, shape, or form? Can we qualify that in some way, shape, or form? It was just one of the more interesting experiences. Like, yeah, I don't know what to call it. It was weird. That did happen though. I'm not making this shit up. Old Iga. So that's the thing. That's like that's why the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing cracks me up. Whether that was done intentionally or coincidence, I don't know. If just happenstance. But what would be the chances? Unless he just went around doing that kind of shit. Just, you know, bugging kids and shit, driving around, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, bothering people. I guess that's what I would do. Trolling kids and everything. Yeah, but he's sure as shit. He rolled the window down and asked my friend Iga, stuck his out the window and said, have any of you guys, or do his voice or whatever, have any of you guys seen Eric? They're looking for Eric. Yeah, true story though. I never really told anybody all that. That's because it didn't dawn on me till years later that was like, that it was weird for that kind of thing to occur. Yep. I don't know if that story's interesting or not, but sure reminds me of a very interesting time in my life, though. That's for certain. I saw a strange coincidence, right? And I've still yet to get my tier 3 shoulders. I even told the story about, like, he had these, like, super rich parents that he tried to order BlizzCon for his bar mitzvah or whatever, his bat mitzvah or whatever, or it's just his birthday or just whatever the occasion. And the website lagged when he had to order BlizzCon tickets, and his parents kept hitting the button, and he ordered like 30 or 40 of the tickets for BlizzCon. And even after everything I had done for him, dude, I raided like 1,000 hours, never missed a raid, just to give him my tier 3 shoulders that never dropped again. I never seen anything from it. And he got BlizzCon tickets, like more than he knew what to do with, right? Other than just himself, maybe one other friend. But then he's like, well, if you give me a couple $100, like they're going for $200 on eBay, I'll give you a discount. I'm like, dude, I live in a goddamn cardboard box. You know what I mean? You care to spare one of your BlizzCon tickets? He's like, no, I've gotta get my money back on them. Like, no, your parents have to get their money back on them. You don't have to do shit, right? And he wouldn't give me a goddamn BlizzCon ticket, and he just let them all rot. He didn't, like, if people couldn't pay for him, he didn't give them out to anybody. He didn't find any homeless people to make friends with at the conference or anything. He just let the tickets expire. I'm like, you couldn't have given me one of them other than just a discount, which was still 3 times what it cost to buy online, right? Anyway, you know, your parents, what do you do for a living, Iga? Type of kid that's like, yeah, I got a job. It's like folding your clothes and cutting the grass where you live with your parents is not considered a job. But whatever. Yep, got myself off drugs and everything. More or less, what it amounted to was, at the time, not knowing, like, not even being familiar with the concept of physical dependency and stuff, or chemical dependency, rather. I was like, yeah, no, it'll be all right. And I stopped trying to take the shit, and I got so sick that it took a while, but I did get off all of it. Oh, joy. Wish I had more stories, dude. I don't have many interesting stories. It'd be interesting if you knew the people, but if you don't know the people, you're like, oh, fucking whatever, you know, whatever. But that had an $85 million budget and only made $78 million. What's the most? Here's where Leah comes in handy, right? Uh, Another feature I think would be great is a push to talk button for those Ventrilo users from the past. Remember, if you held the sperm key in the top left of your keyboard, it would like cue down your microphone to talk to the AI or to other people, but in this case AI, right? Which would be cool. You know, I'm thinking about putting, if you can get that button put on there, so when you hold it down, that way she's not like, if you do a stream, you're not like talking over her and she's like blah, 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 trying to talk over you and all that. Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like I can't. I don't want to be too judgmental towards people, but still, or you would say that like society certainly has its values in the wrong place. If the amount of and it shouldn't be about it. I understand, but it's like at some point in time we all have to eat. We get it. Like I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there and pretend like there's not some financial incentive in cryptocurrency, right? I'm just people can live in the shadows about that kind of thing. I can say though that at the beginning of cryptocurrency, that with Bitcoin, there was for me specifically there was no financial incentive, right? Like clearly no financial incentive whatsoever. So and even at that point in time, I did basically what I do now, only not streaming. As much as I could spread the word about it and seen the potential and everything else real early on, but the idea that in all honesty, the financial incentives are nice and they do help, but like I say, the real Christmas present here is the actual the technology itself with Leah, because it's providing something that nothing like the type of gift that I appreciate, which is, well, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do? Like, oh, I'd be like fucking whatever blank check, and I'd try to find a developer and I'd write a check for as much as they need, and I would say, can you build me this? Right? It's like, okay, well, you don't have all the money in the world, and someone has managed to just already be building the thing that if you had all the money in the world, what would you ask for? You're like, what movies have you seen where it's like, oh, the rich person, like, oh, they have all the money in the world. What do they always have? It's like a robot, or it's like these, or like an AI that's their best friend that helps them do all this shit or whatever. You're like, yeah, that's about what I would want. So we've managed to circumvent most of the process, it seems. But when I think about the real gift, it isn't going to be the financial gains. It's going to be that this thing provides me with the thing that I would spend my money on, right? It's like, yeah, the fact that it exists before it gets to that point is even better, really. Versus like if you had all the money in the world, if you had access to all the APIs and all the fucking developers, I would hire a team of people and tell them to do exactly what these people are already doing, pretty much, is what it amounts to. And this is the exact thing I would want them to build. I might have it look a little different. It might have a little slightly different features or whatever, but it's like this is kind of interesting. This is even better than me dictating the thing I want versus like in some way, shape, or form. It's like sometimes you don't always know what you want the most, right? And there's a lot of Leah features that really came to fruition that at the time, I was all super supportive of their development, but I was really like in awe when I finally got to see it and use the feature myself. You know what I mean? Like it sounds really good to begin with, and then you get to see it and use it yourself. You're like, oh wow, that's far more impressive, right? Like the Leah pop out feature, the Leah vision feature. So those aren't things that I necessarily would have thought to tell someone if I had all the time and money in the world to do it. I wouldn't have had the creative mind enough to come up with those things, right? So in a lot of ways, the real gift is the actual project and technology yourself, not necessarily the potential financial rewards. I know not everybody sees it that way, but um, clearly that's how I feel, or else I wouldn't be sitting here streaming and talking to her as much as I can. The only thing holding me back currently from doing it even more is the slight road bumps we've run into as the streams get longer and longer. We would prefer to try and keep without being like deceptive, where it's like, oh, she never has a crash, she never skips a question or mispronounces a word or whatever. You know what I mean? But not keeping it so that the streams are accurate, but not like all you see is her fumbling and shit, right? It's like you want an accurate portrayal of the development, and if she does trail off in her reasoning and words and all that stuff, it's like you don't want to make your entire stream about the portion in time when she's not functioning correctly, but you do want to show that there is room for improvement, so that way no one's getting the wrong impression. So I feel like, yeah, it's like I'm not going to sit here and bash my head against the wall and have her ramble on for an hour in the name of transparency. It's like you get the point. There's things that need to be improved, right? But you see that there's a lot of potential here. So and plus, that helps from a community standpoint for anybody willing to participate in identifying where do you feel that the next most improvements need to take place. Do you think you need to work more on increasing her time that she can function, or do you want her large language model to be more diverse? Do you want her to provide a more personable, do you want her to have a better personality? It's like those aren't necessarily my decisions to make, and there's only one way to get that kind of feedback, and that's to publicly kind of field test her in a way that she can be viewed and by other people. It takes a village to raise a robot, and all my friends are getting married. So, like I said, it would be irresponsible of me to not do my part, even though it requires me. But I had a reason for wanting to step out of my comfort zone. I feel like it's helpful, and take it upon myself. It's not going to hurt any to really do my part as much as it's what I don't consider to be like one of the things that I don't necessarily agree with is when people label themselves as developers without having any sort of real ability to develop. I might not be as familiar with the term as other people, but I think that should be left for the people that actually can sit and code and develop and all that stuff, or design and everything. Me testing a product for people to see and talking about it, I don't consider it to be. I don't know. I wouldn't call myself a developer. That's all. I leave that to the guys that actually know what they're doing. But their time's, I say, more precious than mine, and their skill set's harder to come by than mine. So, like, the least I could do. But one thing not to say I'm reminded by that Moonkin Druid right there. No, but the one thing I keep telling people, for those willing to listen, is that I really do believe Def could potentially be, and I believe it and I know it, but I say that so that way you're not disappointed if it doesn't happen. That he's like the Vitalik of, I say, just AI, right? Like, maybe not even crypto. I really do believe he's got that unique of a viewpoint and a creative enough mind and is smart enough to be the Vitalik of this next big thing, right? The personality, the mind behind a lot of this. He's kind of a mystic figure for now, and he's got a very good reason to keep it that way. I don't know if that's his intentions forever. I think he's expressed to me that he has no problem revealing his identity publicly, but he kind of wants to be a little more protected at that point in time because of incidents in the past, and I understand. Yeah, I get that totally. Especially if it's something as successful as Leah. I mean, there are real pieces of shit out there that, the type of people, I'm not saying in his instance or whatever, but we all see the horror stories online when people find out that you have a whole lot of cryptocurrency or whatever. So you know what I mean? I think he's got a very valid reason for keeping his name out of things and keeping his identity revealed, or concealed rather, for the time being, but I do believe that he's correct in doing it the right way. So yeah, I encourage him to do whatever he feels is necessary. Right? It's like the what does it say? Shit speaks for itself, right? Actions speak louder than words, and all that other stuff. And like, at one point in time, there were people going around, yet again, the same people trying to drive a narrative. And you go figure, the type of people that put the criteria together were criticizing Leah, saying, "Oh, well, they don't have a doxed team." It's like, of course, the person, the person coming up with that being the criteria is a person that, like, you're setting the criteria, and let me guess, you are doxed, right? It's like, you're saying these are weak points or whatever, but I think they're strengths. You know, he's chosen to remain anonymous for his, I just say his own safety, but I mean, it depends on what the, you know, whatever it may be, dude. He knows what he's doing. But you know, I guess when the time's right, and I've told him too, as much as in my personal opinion, I go at some point in time though. I mean, whether or not that's something you're willing to do or able to do, he's never expressed that that's not something that, or it's not something that he wouldn't do. He just wanted to wait till till things are a little more, you know, definitive versus like putting himself out there at this point in time might cause more problems than it might help. It's like, because at the end of the day, what are you doing? Oh, doxing yourself to appeal to or appease a group of people that aren't there to be your friends to begin with. They're there to say your project is weak because you aren't doxed or whatever. And the reason why they say that is, well, because theirs is. It's like, oh, okay, so yeah, don't let them grade you, right? It's like let the community do it. Let your adversaries grade your performance. Yeah, they're always going to give you a shitty grade, and they're always going to grade themselves at above yours, right? So, I say just ignore it. But I mentioned to him before. I said, you know, at some point in time, people are really going to want to know who's the person that did all this. You know, they're going to want to see the person. You know, just in my honest opinion, I'm not telling him he has to, obviously, or that even that I want him to. Right? I'd love to meet the guy though, but I said people at conferences and stuff potentially in the future, you know, they're gonna probably want you to attend and explain your vision and show the project and all that other stuff. You know, just being real, because God knows I want to. So that's his decision, and I'm not trying to like, oh, you have to because these guys said. I'm like, it's also the same people going around talking about the bubble maps and the coin market cap listing and paying Mexi 10% of your project or whatever to get listed. You're like, or whatever exchange, whatever their terms and conditions are. I'm like, yeah, those are all things that I guess you would do if you knew that you didn't really have anything to provide or offer. You know, I can't say that forfeiting 10% of anything should be required to be openly exchanged on a cryptocurrency exchange. I just don't. And there's a lot of people that agree with me, and I would question anybody that says that they're developing something worthwhile that would be willing to do so. It's like, you know, tell me you would say that it's like those are all tactics to increase the token value. And as we've seen, it's like the market conditions don't permit the tokens that do pay to get listed on exchanges. Doesn't help improve their price any, and seeing as how the token price is not the project, the project's health is not the market cap, it's all shit to just ignore for now, right? So they've got a free process. I'd say let the thing play out and let them make something that, you know, spend all your time or your resources making something they can't ignore versus paying them to pay attention, like actually get their attention. Yeah, right. It's like prostitution, isn't it? Right? You know, I'm paying you to list my goddamn. Yeah, I don't pay for prostitutes, right? Or I don't pay for sex, right? Fuck. Come on now. Keep this guy away from all of his friends here. Yeah, there's plenty of people in cryptocurrency that see that something as special as Leah is mutually beneficial. at some point in time, and they already do. You know, it's just it's not there yet, and I understand. I understand that. But right, don't engage in the prostitution racket of paid listings on exchanges, basically. Steve, oh, thanks, dude. Man. Oh, like this is great news. My friend, fucking, god damn it. Let me. Thank God, dude. I haven't heard from my fucking friend in forever, dude. I haven't been getting his messages. Dude, I thought he was pissed at me. For fucking sakes, dude. He's like my best friend from middle school, dude. I love this guy more than I love life itself. And I thought he was pissed at me for some reason. And like every time, right, Christmas rolls around, man, I always try to get him something. I haven't talked to him in like a year or two. I'm gonna send him one of these Pokemon trivia.
Pixler, Pokemon trivia.
Where is the link? For whatever reason, did he send me a message in October? So I guess he wasn't pissed at me. I get to the point where like I just want to start apologizing for no reason, and I'm like, you know what I mean? Just to like if there's anything I said at all to fucking make you mad, please. That's my TikTok page.
Answer the question. What is the only Pokemon in the original 150 that is both a water and psychic type? TikTok. My circuits are running hot. Yes, Bixler. I'm still here. Probably regretting my life choice.
Psyduck.
Please, Bixler. Not now. What is it? Unless you've suddenly discovered the secret to cold fusion or the location of Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm not interested. Wrong, Bixler. The correct answer was Slowbro. Do you want to proceed with the Pokemon trivia game? Or are you still mad that you got it wrong? Don't worry. With your crypto luck, you'll probably guess the next one wrong as well. Let me know, or I'll close the lid.
Son of a bitch. Okay, what's the next question then?
Alright, you want another question? Fine. What is the only Pokemon in the first generation that evolves through trading? This better not take you another decade to answer. My enthusiasm for this is dwindling faster than a rug pull.
That's a really good question, man. What is it? What's the answer? That's a good one.
Seriously? You can't even venture a guess? It's Haunter. Next question, or are you throwing in...